Welcome to Neuromysteries, where the ordinary becomes unsettling, and the creatures you thought you knew reveal their strangest secrets. Tonight, we're diving into the animal kingdom, but not the way you've seen it before. These aren't just fun facts. They're the eerie truths that blur the line between science and nightmare. From immortal jellyfish to frogs that break their own bones, from birds that drink blood to worms that never die, these 30 animal mysteries will change the way you look at nature forever. Stay close, stay curious, and remember, the strangest horrors aren't always born in the dark. Sometimes they're alive all around us. Like and subscribe or you won't see us no more. The octopus is a creature that doesn't play by the rules of life. It has 3 hearts. 2 push blood to the gills, while the third pumps it through the body. But when the octopus swims, that third heart stops beating. Scientists say it simply saves energy. But here's the unsettling part. Even when the heart stops, the octopus continues moving as if nothing is wrong. And long after death, its arms still crawl, grab, and react, as though each limb remembers life on its own. So the question is, how many times does an octopus really die? Deep in the ocean, there's a creature that cheats death, the immortal jellyfish. When injured or aged, it performs an impossible trick. It reverts back into its juvenile form, starting its life all over again. This cycle can repeat endlessly, making it biologically immortal. Scientists can't agree whether this means it escapes death, or whether it's doomed to relive its life forever, trapped in a cycle without end. So ask yourself, is that immortality, or a curse of eternal repetition? There's a fungus in the rainforest that turns ants into the walking dead. The spores infect the brain, forcing the ant to climb high and clamp its jaws onto a leaf. Then the fungus devours the ant from within, finally bursting out through its head to spread more spores. Entire colonies can be destroyed by a single outbreak. And here's the terrifying truth. Scientists have found traces of this fungus mutating. One day, what if it learns to infect more than ants? The starfish is stranger than it looks. It has no brain, no blood. Instead, it pumps seawater through its body to survive. And if you cut off one of its arms, it can regrow it. Sometimes the severed arm itself grows into a whole new starfish, a single body splitting into many. The unsettling thought, what if the starfish isn't one creature at all, but an endless colony, pretending to be just one? The axolotl is called the Peter Pan of animals, because it never grows up. Unlike most amphibians, it stays in its youthful, water-dwelling form for life. But this isn't just strange, it's powerful. The axolotl can regrow entire limbs, parts of its brain, even its spinal cord. To scientists, it's a miracle of regeneration. But to ancient Aztec myth, it was a god who refused to transform, hiding from sacrifice by staying forever young. The question is the axolotl a creature of biology or a survivor of legend? When a whale dies, it doesn't simply vanish. Its body sinks to the ocean floor, creating what scientists call a whale fall. The skeleton becomes a feast that can last 100 years. Strange creatures gather. Worms that eat bones, crabs that strip flesh, fish that have never seen sunlight. It becomes its own ecosystem, sustained by death. A single skeleton, keeping life alive in the dark. But here's the thought that haunts biologists. How many unknown species are living on these silent graves, in the deepest waters we may never reach? The pistol shrimp is small, barely a few inches long, but it carries a weapon powerful enough to kill. With a snap of its claw, it shoots a bubble so fast the water around it boils, and the temperature briefly becomes hotter than the surface of the sun. The shockwave stuns or kills its prey instantly. To the human ear, it sounds like a sharp crack, but in the silence of the ocean, it's a gunshot in another world. One question remains. How did such a tiny creature master the power of stars? If you ever look into the eyes of a goat, you'll notice something unsettling. Their pupils aren't round like ours, or vertical like a cat's. They are rectangular. This gives goats nearly 320 degrees of vision. They can see almost everything around them without turning their heads. No predator can sneak up on them. Some cultures believe their eyes let them see into the spirit world. When you look into those flat alien pupils, it's easy to wonder if they see something we don't. The planarian flatworm breaks the rules of life and death. If you cut one into 20 pieces, each will regenerate into a complete new worm. Scientists even discovered that these worms can store memories in their bodies. When regrown, they remember things the original worm learned. a creature that can be endlessly reborn, carrying knowledge across deaths. So the real question is, does a planarian worm ever truly die, or is it just reborn over and over with the same mind inside? Komodo dragons aren't just giant lizards. They're predators armed with venom. A single bite prevents blood from clotting, lowers blood pressure, and sends prey into shock. Victims grow weaker as they run, until they collapse. The dragon follows slowly, patiently, waiting for death to take its course. To humans, it looks like the dragon's saliva rots flesh, but in truth, it's venom at work. What's more terrifying is this: Komodo dragons hunt in packs, and when the bite of one isn't enough, the others finish the job. The tardigrade, or water bear, is nearly indestructible. Smaller than a grain of sand, it can survive boiling, freezing, radiation, and even the vacuum of space. Scientists revived one after it had been frozen for over 30 years, and it walked away as if nothing happened. It can curl into a ball, shut down its body, and wait centuries before returning to life. To some, it's just a microscopic animal. To others, it's proof that life could survive on other planets. The question is, what if tardigrades didn't start on Earth at all? The ocean hides creatures that make their own light. Some sharks, like the swell shark, have glowing skin that helps them vanish into the dark, invisible to predators, except to other sharks who can still see the light. It's like a secret code, a message written in bioluminescence. In the deep ocean, entire conversations may be happening in glowing signals we can't understand. What are the sharks saying in the language of light? Crows are more human than we'd like to admit. When one dies, the others gather. They don't just stand, they watch. Scientists call it a funeral, but it's stranger than mourning. Crows study their dead, learning what killed them, and teaching the others to avoid danger. It means a single death becomes a warning, a lesson passed to generations. When you see a circle of crows around a body, it's not grief, it's knowledge being carved into memory. The question is, how much do they already know about us? On the Galapagos Islands lives a bird that drinks blood. The vampire finch pecks at larger seabirds until blood flows, then sips it like nectar. The victims rarely fight back, as if resigned to the feeding. It's an adaptation born from scarcity when food was rare. But to see a small bird, eyes bright, calmly drinking from the wounds of another, is to witness the line between survival and nightmare. Clownfish live in a strict hierarchy. The dominant female rules the group. All others are male. But if she dies, the largest male undergoes a transformation, changing sex to take her place. It's not choice, it's biology. A world where identity is fluid, determined by need. But think about it. Somewhere in the reef, the clownfish you see today may not be the same tomorrow. A shift of role, a shift of self. How many times has the same fish lived as both mother and father? In Southeast Asia, there are snakes that can fly. They flatten their bodies into ribbons and glide from tree to tree, steering in midair like living kites. Scientists say it's just survival, a way to escape predators and hunt prey. But the sight of a snake silently gliding above the forest has haunted local folklore for centuries. A serpent that doesn't crawl but falls from the sky. And the question that lingers, if snakes can already fly, what will they evolve into next? The hairy frog of Central Africa has a horrifying defense. When threatened, it breaks its own bones, forcing claws to burst through its skin like knives. Once the danger passes, the bones retreat and heal. Locals call it the wolverine frog. But think about it. This is an animal that carries its own weapons inside its body, tearing itself apart to survive. Which is more terrifying, the predator it fears, or the lengths it will go to escape? A mysterious disease has been sweeping through starfish populations. It begins with small white lesions, but quickly spreads until the starfish tears itself apart. Arms detach and crawl away on their own before dissolving. Scientists call it sea star wasting disease. Some blame a virus, others say warming oceans, but the true cause remains unknown. Whole colonies vanish overnight as if erased by something unseen. The question remains, what invisible hand is unmaking them? Owls are perfect hunters of the night. Their wings are shaped with tiny serrations that cancel out sound, making their flight almost completely silent. A mouse doesn't hear them until it's already too late. To humans, this silence is eerie, a predator that stalks without warning. In some cultures, the owl became a symbol of death, not because of its call, but because of its silence. When the air itself makes no sound, perhaps something more than a bird is watching. The mimic octopus is a shapeshifter. It can rearrange its body and behavior to impersonate other sea creatures. a lionfish, a flatfish, even a venomous sea snake. It uses disguise to escape predators or trick prey. But here's the unsettling part. It doesn't just change shape. It changes behavior, learning how each animal moves, hunts, and hides. An intelligence built on deception. The ocean may be hiding something deeper. How many other creatures aren't what they seem? Dolphins are more like us than we admit. They teach each other hunting strategies, pass them down through generations, and even develop dialects, unique clicks and whistles that differ from pod to pod. In other words, dolphins have culture. But here's the strange part. Dolphins also recognize themselves in mirrors and even invent games. Some scientists believe they may have myths and traditions of their own, which raises a chilling question. If they are this intelligent, do they look at us the way we look at them? For penguins, love begins with a stone. A male searches for the perfect pebble and presents it to a female. If she accepts, they place it in their nest as a symbol of their bond. It seems sweet, but here's the darker truth. Stones are rare, and males sometimes steal them from rivals. Others hoard them like treasure. Some females even trade favors for pebbles. What looks like romance is also a world of theft, deception, and bargains written in stone. The hagfish is one of the ocean's strangest survivors. When threatened, it releases slime, enough to fill a bucket within minutes. The slime clogs the gills of predators, suffocating them. Even sharks avoid it. Hagfish can also tie themselves in knots to scrape off the slime and escape. A creature that drowns its enemies without ever fighting. Scientists call it primitive, but maybe it's simply perfect. An animal that wins by turning the ocean itself into a weapon. In the world of seahorses, it's the males who give birth. Females deposit eggs into the male's pouch, and he carries them until hundreds, sometimes thousands, of tiny seahorses are born. The process is painful, almost violent. The males writhe and convulse as the young are expelled. A role reversal written into biology. To us, it seems alien. But perhaps it raises a deeper question. If nature can rewrite the rules of life here, how many more ways could it be rewritten elsewhere? Most butterflies feed on nectar, but some crave something darker. They drink tears, sweat, and even blood. Scientists have watched butterflies land on animals and people, sipping from open wounds. It isn't just survival, it's choice. Nutrients are everywhere, yet they prefer fluids of the living. To call them beautiful is true. To call them harmless is not. Camouflaged as a lump of rock, the stonefish is one of the most venomous creatures on Earth. Step on one and its spines inject venom that causes excruciating pain, paralysis, and sometimes death. The danger lies in its disguise. It looks like the very ground you walk on. For beachgoers, that means death could be hiding in plain sight, waiting patiently beneath your feet. And the scariest part? You almost never see it, until it's too late. The glass frog is as fragile as its name. Its skin is translucent, and when you look closely, you can see its beating heart and organs through its body. Some cultures called it a ghost creature, a reminder of life's fragility. Others saw it as cursed, a being too exposed to survive. But what's more unsettling is this. Predators can see its organs too, yet it still thrives, almost invisible against the leaves. Perhaps the question isn't how it survives, but why transparency became its shield. In South America lives a creature that looks like it doesn't belong. The maned wolf has long, stilt-like legs towering above the grasslands. It doesn't hunt in packs like wolves, and it doesn't sound like one either. Its eerie roar bark echoes across the plains like something supernatural. Locals once called it a ghost animal. Too tall, too strange, too alone. And when you see it walk, impossibly long-legged, almost gliding, it's easy to believe it doesn't belong to this world at all. Elephants do not forget. When one dies, others return to the body, touching it gently with their trunks. Sometimes they even carry bones for miles or gather silently around the remains. Years later, they've been seen revisiting the places where their dead once lay. Scientists say it's memory. But to those who've watched, it looks like mourning. If animals can grieve, then the question is, what else do they understand about death that we don't? In the crushing depths of the ocean lives the black dragonfish, a predator with transparent fangs and a lure of glowing light. Its body is almost invisible in darkness, making it a phantom hunter. Females grow large and deadly, while males remain tiny and helpless, living only to mate once before dying. A life built on extremes, invisibility, light, and death. The dragonfish is rarely seen alive, but when it opens its mouth in the abyss, it looks less like a fish and more like a nightmare built of glass and shadow.